All right, Chelsea, let's talk football. Last week's loss, yeah, it hurt, but it was our first of the season. But here's the deal. We've still got 3 games left, and 2 of them are crucial region games. So we're still in the playoffs, so don't let that one game get you down. This team has a lot to play for, and they're going to come out more than ready on Friday night. It's not just any game, it's our last home game of the season, and more importantly, it's senior night. These seniors have put in the work, and you better believe that they'll leave it all on the field. Let's show up and give them the support that they deserve and keep our undefeated home record alive this season. On this episode of Inside the Hornets Nest, I'll talk with head coach Todd Cassidy, who will break down last week's game against Spain Park and discuss this week's opponent in the Helena Huskies. I'll also talk with specialist Jackson Kalnoski, and from the offense, Will Pullman. All this and more as Inside the Hornets Nest starts right now.
The Spain Park game was tough. I felt like our offense played well in the first half. Thought our defense secondary played really well the entire game. Only allowing 85 yards on the pass. I think we learned that our kids are not going to quit. Even when we got down, our kids were still playing hard. There's a lot of leadership in this team, and we just got to keep building on that and get better this week and go win a football game Friday night. Well, this thing's still got a lot to play for. We're there just ready to play in the playoffs and trying to figure out where we're going to be at. If we win this week, we have a really good shot at hosting. So I feel like there's a lot of hope, whereas in the past, our guys were just wanting to play the next game and move on. But I feel like this group is they're really hopeful, they're really together and fighting for that next spot. Yeah, man, it's been great. The community, the school, the student section's been unbelievable. I think we've actually got to the point where we're at capacity with our student section, and I told them in the pep rally 2 weeks ago, I said, just keep coming, y'all we'll put you somewhere. So I'm really excited about how much support we've gotten, with our new facilities. People feel at home a little bit better over on the new side. It's such a great spot, great. There's not a bad seat. You can see the game so well from over there. So it's been so great to have our support just continue to grow, and I feel like this team is really bought into that too. They feel it when like last week at Spain Park, man. Our stands were packed, and it was good to see how many people traveled with us. Yeah, Helena's a good football team, well coached. They're big. They play very physical football. I think it's going to test us a little bit. Hey, where is our level of physicality at? Last year when we played them really well in the first half, and then they sort of wore us down a little bit in the second half. And so I feel like that's where we've got to gauge ourselves. Are we there yet? Are we going to want to be a really good 6A football team? And I feel like that's our challenge. We talked to them about it all week, is to go and match the physicality. Injury-wise, we're good. I really don't have any issues, with where we're at. We had a couple kids get banged up a little bit against Spain Park, but that extra day I think helped a lot, allowed us to rest a little bit more, and everybody's been good to go ever since Monday. It's a small group of seniors. When I got here, they were freshmen, and it's been a special group, especially with Miller playing with this group, and even though it's a small group, they have so much leadership, they have so much to offer, and I'm gonna miss these guys. Whenever it's over, hopefully in 8, 9, 10 games, whenever that might be, I'm gonna miss these guys, and they're a really special group to me and to my family.
So in the Spain Park game, I think we came out with a little bit we underestimated them just a little bit, but the O-line as a group, we did pretty all right. Still have let up 0 sacks this season. Speaking of, our quarterback had better stats in the Spain Park game than Spain Park's QB. I mean, as a whole, I think we were able to drive the ball, but we couldn't finish. We couldn't get it into the end zone, but we did end up with more yards than Spain Park did, even though the score was what it was. Not necessarily. I do think it's just, I feel like we weren't prepared for their speed. They were a little bit more fast. We kept shooting ourselves in the foot with a couple false starts here and there, and a couple mental mistakes that we could have polished out for sure. I feel like I'm still very proud of our season, and I feel like it's not over yet. We still have more to prove. I still want to prove more. But I did realize it was easy. it was more sad, that one loss, than probably every other loss I've ever been a part of because of how good we were doing. But I still believe we have so much more to prove. So Helena runs a even three, and as an O-lineman, it's really fun because there's a lot of people in the box. So preparation, been watching a lot of film, been breaking down them a lot, and I'm very excited to meet them on the field and show them what this O-line's about. It's gonna be an emotional one for sure. I'm very excited, and I hope I can take it all in. I'm trying not to take it for granted, but I'm very excited to play on this field. It's my favorite.
Well, being a long snapper, it's a skill for sure, and everybody thinks they can do it until they try it, and they just see how much you have to put into it, how much you have to work. But it's all 90% drill work, and it's really just 10% snapping. There's a lot of small things you need to fix, a lot of small things you pick up on when you long snap, and that will ultimately change everything. So we'll start pre-game after I put my pants on, everything before pads. I'll go stretch out, just do some dynamic stretches, and then we'll get out to the field. We'll do another quick round of dynamic stretches with the rest of the specialists, and then we'll come out. Usually by then we're warm on game days, and we'll get to snapping. And then after the initial round's done, we'll go back, do some more stretches, and hit a little bit of drill work, just to hone in on some things we need to fix, if there's anything there. I mean, it's a mind game. There's a fine line between over snapping and then not being ready. So it's a struggle to find that some days when you don't know, why a spiral is not perfect or why a ball's high, why a ball's low. But it's definitely something you got to figure out, in between games, and you really just have to snap and then get consistent with it. It's difficult, and I don't think a lot of people know it's a high pressure job. I mean, just like being a quarterback, definitely not to the level of a quarterback, but all eyes are on that ball when it's going back to the punter or to the holder. And if you mess up, that's where it starts, it's on you. I only started playing my sophomore year, and those weren't the greatest seasons for us, but now that we've come so far and that I've made an impact on the program, it's gonna sting a lot walking off the field, win or loss, just knowing that this might be the last time I'll see, the home field. Well, obviously there's a team goal of just beating everybody. You want to win as many games as possible, and then, you set small ones, like win one game, then win the next, and then eventually got to clinching a playoff spot. But then that's team goals, but then just personal stuff, it's just doing my job and doing it to the best of my ability, because trying to go play football at a higher level, you have to be perfect in high school for people to look at you. Well, it was my dad who roped me all into it. He was the one that convinced me to play football, and I started out wanting to quit. I mean, sophomore year was terrible for me, and I just stuck with my position because that's what my dad did. And he was kind of my mentor for the first half of my sophomore season. And that was really where it all started. Then I started getting trained by some professionals. They've helped me a lot. I mean, I wouldn't be where I am today without X-Long snapping. I thank them a lot for that. And it means a lot. Just being able to line up at the end of each game and sing the alma mater and not want it to be over. You want to stay on that field, and you don't care when it ends. Just being out there with my teammates, it's awesome. It means a ton to me.